Perfect.
Welcome in, guys. Tipsforgamers.com. I'm Doddery Crib, and today we're going to welcome you into the Madden God Kingdom, baby. Now, with that being said, we're going to show you how to take your team and make it a MUT status team on franchise, and you're going to be able to do this within 3 years. Not only that, we're going to give you 3 tips on top of the tip that we're talking about today that is going to help you capitalize and make sure that no one is going to be able to compete with you in Madden franchise mode. No questions asked, and we're going to make damn sure of it. It's time to light it up. Let's jump in. By the way, guys, if you have not checked out our brand new merch, man, you got to rep the Tips for Gamers merch. You got to show them where you come from, baby, where you represent. And with that being said, we want to make sure not only do you like what you bought, but you look good in it too. So let's jump into this, guys. Now, if you've seen our other videos talking about trading, we tell you that the best time to trade is in the free agency, week 1 of the free agency signing period, where you could start bidding on other players. Now, that's, I believe, 2 advances once you're at the Super Bowl. So you advance to where you get to sign your players, and then the next week you advance to where you get to bid in the open market with other teams for players. At that point in time, teams are at their lowest roster space, right? So it means they have a bunch of team needs. So you need to capitalize on trading at that time. Now, another time to trade, that's the best time to trade, is within 3 years of your guys' franchise. Now, a lot of times people think that it's your first year, and that's not the case. Why is that not the case? Because we're going to show you different trading techniques that we've showed you guys before, which is trading for regression and trading for contracts. Okay, so we're going to show you both of those. Now, for example, I just advanced. I chose the Dolphins because, well, they're terrible, and I just advanced to the 3rd year, so I don't really know who's where. This is a great pickup. My Lord, I feel bad if I actually picked that up. However, I do want to grab some of these other guys, and this is just for trading purposes, because when you simulate with a CPU team and they have no control, they just destroy it. Like, nothing happens on your team. All the contracts leave, and your team turns to absolute trash. John Ross would be a great one here. So halfbacks in general, I do love halfbacks, and I want to pull on some more halfbacks. Drew Brees would be a great and easy pick, but Damian Williams, this is perfect. Another halfback too, Wayne Gallman Jr., and we'll pick him up. And then now we'll just go out and we'll just figure it out what we got to do from here. So right now, I'm going to go make trades for certain players. Now, the way I'm going to do it too is I'm going to go to roster here, and I'm going to go to wide receiver first. So then I'm going to go to the NFL, and from here I can see all of the guys that are up on the board that are, you know, not too bad. Now I'm looking for a guy like this. This is perfect. Okay, Julio Jones is still Julio Jones. He's starting to regress. I would probably use him for 1 year and then trade him away. We do this a lot in our rebuilds. So I'm trading for his regression. He's starting to regress. He's not a high 99 overall or anything like that anymore. So, you know, he's regressing. So the team's not seeing as much value into him right at this current moment. And I'm also looking at his contract because I see that they got a penalty of $38.1 million. Well, if I get the trade to go through, I'm not paying that $38.1 million. The Falcons are paying that $38.1 million. So that would mean that I get Julio Jones cheaper, right? And it shows that they actually have an $8.03 million cap hit. So I'd have to actually go pull guys off their team. So I'm going to wait for Julio Jones, and let's move on. Let's move to another guy. We'll go to left outside linebacker here. So this is another perfect example here. We got Khalil Mack. He's 30 years old right now, right? And he still should be tradable. Now, Khalil Mack's average regression age, if you look at the MPPs on our website, his average regression age starts to top out around 30, 30. He starts hitting regression within 30, up to 33 years old. But you can have him up till he's 33 years old most of the time, and he doesn't retire. Like, his average retire age, I think, is like 34, something like that. I can't remember, but he's locked into an actual huge deal. So the Bears would pay $22 million off of his mega contract already. So here I would use like this guy. I don't know, one of these 2 QBs. I don't even know who I have, but either one of these guys is terrible. I mean, a 72 overall is nothing to write home about. But you see here, I'm getting a crap load of interest for a 99 overall player. Well, If I wanted to use other players, I would use like a halfback here, and I would get him basically, you know, Scott's free. If I wanted to add another guy too, I could add like a fullback, see if they like him. I'm just trying to smudge my way into the last little bit. Now, if they don't really want to do it, I don't really want to give draft picks away on my first trade, but I'll do it. Okay, so they're going to want a 4th round pick. So basically here, the way you want to look at it is that QB is trash. I mean, he's not very good. I don't care what his dev trade is. He's not very good. With our trading techniques, you should never be having a quarterback like that starting on your team. You could trade for any and every quarterback in the league. So we just pulled on Khalil Mack. That's one of them there. Every team trades differently with every team. So if I'm on the Dolphins compared to, let's say, I'm on the Redskins, the 49ers may trade differently between both of us. And it may be night and day how they trade. But a lot of teams, you could trade for him pretty easily. I mean, it's pretty impressive on how you could trade for him. Linemen, you guys already know linemen are easy to trade for all the time. And what's great about linemen though is you should wait for some of these guys to get contracts, and we'll probably do a video on that, waiting for some of these guys to get their contracts, and then you could trade for them when they have these big huge penalties, and that way you're getting the guy way cheaper. And you know even when they're young, you're still going to be able to get them way cheaper. Okay, so I'm going to go to left end here. Now, this is a perfect one here for JJ Watt. JJ Watt is not owed any more money, and he's sitting at a 0. You know, he has no penalty, so they can trade him away. But he's getting paid this year $17.5 million. So that actually leaves me in total control here. Total control. I just got to have the guys to be able to do this. Okay, so I would add up Wilkins here, and they really don't like Wilkins much at all. So I am having a little issues with the players that are on my team. Once again, I just advanced, and you know, I would probably use maybe, I don't know, I don't really want to use that guy. I'd rather use a halfback here, go after a halfback, see if we can get it. Okay, so we're at halfway interest for JJ Watt, and this is perfect. And don't worry about his 1 year, because like I said, you could restart his contract. So I brought on JJ Watt. I gave up a halfback, and I gave up a 3rd round pick, which isn't too bad. Now he's sitting at that $17.5 million. So all I would do here is release him out. Now, if you're playing with other players, be careful doing this, because, well, you can lose your player on free agency, and someone's going, dude, JJ Watt's just sitting there. But you notice what I'm signing JJ for is $11.6 million. So I just knocked off, basically, theoretically, not even theoretically, I knocked off $6 million off his contract, right? Not too bad there. Now I'm going to grab Drew Brees just for some trade potential here. This is what I want to do. You know what? I'm going to grab Trey Williams too, or Trey Waynes. The only thing is I want to make sure my cap room doesn't get too high. And I'm not going to go after the biggest dude of them all, which is Doddery. I'm definitely not going to pick him up. I feel like that's just too much. It'd be too easy for me. And I don't want to make it super easy for me. The harder I make it on myself, the better it is for you guys, because chances are I'm going to put myself in a harder situation than what you guys will be up against. So that way you guys will know how to get out of it. So here, this is a struggle with the Falcons, because giving up Julio Jones is going to put them in so much debt. So I would have to find another player that they'd want to get rid of. And I'm still actually set on that. That's actually not too bad. But Julio Jones, he would get a huge contract. His contract would get knocked tremendously. And we'll go over it. And that halfback, I wouldn't even keep that young halfback, to be honest with you. And the reason I wouldn't even keep this young halfback is because he's really not that good, and you could trade for another one. But they're not liking the double halfbacks. So they need a D tackle. They need a right outside linebacker. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I have any of this stuff that they're talking about here. I really don't think I do. So I'd give up a 2nd round pick here, try to worm my way. Okay, so I know I'm close. I want to do a 3rd too. I'm going to have to do something tricky. Damn it. Because I'm trying to go for 2 players for the price of 1. I'm trying to it's a real pain, and I don't want to give up my 1st round pick. I'm very stingy at giving up my 1st and my 2nd round picks. But if I'm going to give up my 1st round picks, it's going to be the next year's picks more than likely. I had to use the 2nd of this year, but that's because I know it's just it's a tight one. Now, what's another thing that I could do in this situation? Well, what I could do is I'm looking at their team needs. I see that they need a right tackle, a D tackle. Well, one thing you can do is the SAR. You can go do the SAR for a right tackle, go bring them the best right tackle. Okay, let's say you can't do that in your league. You can't do the SAR. It's banned in your league because people just are scared of it. Whatever the case may be. Well, I could go trade for one of those positions that I know is easy, but I got to keep in mind their cap room's at $3.32 million, so I can't overpay, go get the best and biggest guy like Geno Atkins, who's really easy to trade for, and trade them to him, to this team, because they're going to be broke. Left guard, I know I can go get a left guard that's fairly cheap. I could look, chances are there's a rookie that was picked up. I'm going to try that real quick just to show you guys. But I know who I wanted off those teams. So they need a left guard, correct? So let's go to a left guard. Now I know I have that $3 million to play with, and that's what I need. So what if I went after Hernandez here, who's still in his rookie contract? Well, is Hernandez easy to trade for? I don't know. I'd rather get rid of this guy here. Okay, so that's not too bad there. Let's see if I can worm my way into this trade some way, somehow. Nope, that's not going to work. Do they need a center? I really have no players on this team. My Lord have mercy. What about a D tackle here? Do they like this guy? Do they secretly like him? No, they don't. My Lord, my team is so bad. Okay, so one of these guys, though, as sad as it is, I would get rid of Baker, because I know I could trade for Baker back. Okay, so I'm going to do that, because right now it's worth it to my team to do what I'm doing. So I would trade this kid too, because honestly, I don't really care that he's a rookie. The fact that he's a 77 overall just makes things really bad for me. I just don't like that. Give him 7th round pick. They don't want that. I'm going to go a 6th round pick. I'm hoping they accept this, because the next would have to be a 5th, and I don't want to give up the 5th. So I got Will Hernandez, right? Now, if I wanted to keep Will Hernandez, I could definitely do that. And what I could do is, the Giants now need right tackle, D tackle. They didn't pop up the guard, which is interesting. However, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to take Hernandez. Now you're going to see him disappear from your screen. Okay. Once I put this in, he's going to disappear. You see that the Dolphins offer is not there. He's still there. Don't worry about it. Okay. He's still there. You could see he's still showing value. He's still there. Okay. So the next one would be, I would add up the halfback, and then I would add up this 2nd round pick. Should have probably added up a 3rd. But anyways, I used Will Hernandez, the halfback, in the 2nd round pick to get Julio and the other guy that I wanted. Well, now's a great opportunity. Now that they need a D tackle, I can make my guys more valuable. Now, this is another trade technique. I could add up Kelly, and he's going to show green interest. Okay, so anytime you pull away, you need to give back. And I could offer 2 of them up and just see how they like both these guys. They don't like that guy, so that's fine. Now, is there anyone else I could go after and just kind of take away from their team? Well, yeah, I could go after Hooper here. Okay, so that's not too bad. That's not a bad DZ. Okay, let's make some action happen, baby. Talk to me. What's going on? What do you need? Okay, you need some 7ths this year? I'm guessing you want a 6th round of this year. What do you got for me? That's what I'm talking about. So that's a deal between one team. It was a pretty big deal. Now, I know that they need a tight end. I would add these 2 guys up here. Let's see if they're actually good. They don't actually like those guys, but since I don't need... Man, where's my other boy? Oh, there he is. Okay, so now I know they need this guy, and I could use him to pick up some other guy and do things like that. I could go after Calvin Ridley, bring on Calvin Ridley. And I'm showing you some other stuff too. This is a mixture of some other things. I don't know if I can get something else besides this, but I'd go after Calvin Ridley for sure, because Ridley's a beast. And okay, so right now he's not tradable, but I bet you I wait 1 more year and I could trade him for gold. Anyways, like, let's say I wanted to do something like this and said, hey, I wanted to bring back my boys, and I could, obviously do something like that. If not, I said, hey, I want to do a straight up trade like this or close to. I know that halfbacks are readily available on the free agency like crazy, even in, crap overall. I gave up too much. I should ask for picks back, but at the same point in time, I'm making the video somewhat quicker. So I pulled Hernandez back onto the team. And so let me go and look at some of these guys that we picked up here. But really, I'm looking for, making these guys cheaper. So you see, I owe them nothing. I'm paying them 17 million a year. I can reset JJ's contract. I don't have to negotiate with him. I can reset his contract at the end of the year for one more year at this 11.6 or probably even less because of regression. And then I could trade JJ away. And I'll show you that in this video. But we got Hooper, and they paid off his bonus. We got him for 4 more years until he's 30 years old for basically nothing. So that was a hell of a deal. Okay, Julio Jones, they paid off $20-something million of his contract. We got him for 3 more years. This is perfect. Absolutely perfect. We're only owing him this year $500,000. And that's amazing. We got Jarrett, who's got 2 more years left on his contract, and we got them to pay his penalty. So by this $17.5 million a year when he's 29, I'm going to trade him away because I'm not going to pay him that 17.5. I'm going to trade for another D-tackle who's locked into a contract to get him cheaper. So I'm trading for regression. I'm trading for contracts. I'm creating the snowball effect where I'm going to trade these guys away in the future for first to multi-big, humongous contracts. Hernandez, if I don't want to sign this contract, I feel he's not too good, I'll reset his contract and then bring him back in. But look for some of these guys and say, hey, can I release them out of their contract and they'll be cheaper like we did with JJ Watt? There's a bunch of other guys too. I don't think we brought on Fletcher Cox, but Fletcher Cox would be another one. They owe him $57.6 million. That's what they owed him. And I'm sure they probably have contract issues. No, they don't. And I don't know if I have any more halfbacks. I do have some wide receivers, I would assume. Let's see here. Okay, they like Williams, so this is perfect for me here. And you can see here, I just did a good deal. Now, let's see what I'm paying him at this point in time. Where are the damn Dolphins? There they are. Okay, so I'm only, they paid off a lot of his contract here. Well, I could reset him out of his contract, release him, and try to get him lower than that $16 million. But I think you're pretty close, so I don't know if I would fight that too much. In fact, let's see, because I'm going to release him. So we released him out of the contract. Once again, if you have other people in your league, do this when they're doing something else. Tell them all to be like, yo, look at this guy in this team, man. Check him out. And then while they're all doing that, you go release your guy and go pick him up on the free agency. But you can see $16 million is what we were paying him this year. Now we dropped him down to 7.69. So not only are we trading for contracts, we're releasing them out of their contracts, and we're paying them even less money than what we originally what we even traded for. So it's an added bonus on top of a bonus. So I'm constantly getting my team higher overall, but paying them half of what I'd be paying that horrible overall team, right? And you can see just from the stuff we've done here, and I could take one of those D tackles, move him to end if I really want to, but I jumped my defense to whatever the God knows horrible number it was, to an 84 overall, and we're making some business happen. That's what it is. Another guy would be too, and I'd just be scrolling through the league here. I want to go to the NFL, so that's how I'm looking at it. And then what I would do here, I could look at some more wide receivers. Wide receivers are super easy. You guys already know halfbacks are super easy to trade for. So if I wanted, I'm pretty sure we already have a good halfback that we just traded for whoever the hell we traded for. Yeah. Oh, we didn't get Freeman. Who did we get on our team? I feel like we got somebody. I don't know who we got. We didn't get nobody. Well, that's easy to change around. I could take a regular halfback off the free agency and basically trade one of them for the top guys up here. Fullback, always trade for your fullbacks. It's super, super easy. Use a halfback, wide receiver. I can look across the board. I'd be keeping my eyes on Michael Thomas. I'd be keeping my eyes on DeAndre Hopkins. The minute they hit 30 years old, I'm offering them to trade. And on top of that as well, the minute I see even a hint of regression, I'm going after him as aggressive as I possibly can. Keenan Allen, this would be a big one here. I don't know if I can pick him up, but I know in later years you can get him tremendously easy. We do it in our rebuilds a lot. I'd add up a quarterback here. They need a QB. Well, I know that QBs are really easy to trade for, but the contracts just don't work out, so I'm not going to make that trade because the video would take too long. Another guy would be Von Miller, and I would use Von Miller to put on a different side, hopefully last 1 year, and then I would trade him away in the draft. And that's really what I would do. I'm seeing here, who do they need? They need D tackle. I wonder if I could use this guy. This guy is trash, though. He's not good. Left end. Man, I'm still not rocking enough dough on this, though. This is, I don't have the dudes for this. I'd have to go to free agency, man. This is just painful as all get out. I would have to use $1 million guy and then hope to God they give me him for like, I would offer a fifth just to get my bearings to see what are they talking. Okay. Now that's the bearings I wanted to see, because I'm going to offer you a third round, shows that yellow interest, and then we're going to close to snap it off. Now, if I had some other players, use free agency players, because then I wouldn't have to use this second round pick. Okay. But I don't want to, for the video, I don't want to make it too long. It's already 20 minutes. But I pulled on Von Miller. Now I'd use Von Miller and put him on the other side of my team. But I think you guys got the gist on this of looking through everything and seeing how I'm operating that. And then what I would do is I'd reset their contract and I would trade some of them away at the end of the year. Okay, and in fact, I'm going to show that before we wrap up this video. I'm going to get to the playoffs. Okay, so we're in the Super Bowl now. And the fact that we're in the Super Bowl now means that our season is over. We didn't make it to the Super Bowl. Our season's done. So we're in a interesting period right now where we're in this year and we're in next year at the same time. So this year is still continuing for teams that are in the playoffs. The teams that are not in the playoffs or lost in the playoffs, their season is over, which means that if you release someone out of their contract now and pick them back up on the free agency, which we call our reset contract technique, okay, what happens is the players get a contract for next year. For example, you can see all these guys show a 0, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to release these guys out of their contract right now, and I'm going to release anyone who's got a 0 on their name, or anyone who I want to reset their contract. This works really well for quarterbacks. You know, this is how we made quarterbacks so cheap for the Madden community. You know, we want to make sure that we're always making everybody as cheap as possible, making trades as feasible as possible, and making sure that you guys own when you play Madden franchise mode. There's no question. So now I'm going to pick these guys up. You see 11.6. So I just reset their contract for the next year. I'm signing Fletcher Cox. Now, depending on their regression will mean whether or not I'll trade them. It won't cost me any money to trade these guys away. Okay, 0 to trade these guys away. In fact, you can at this point in time pick up a bunch of free agency players that are sitting there, and you could pick them up, bring them onto your team, and they'll never go to the free agency offseason. So for example, if we go back to the salaries, you see that 0 turned into a 1, which means I have them for one more season. For example, I'll show you when they came up on the contract. When I go to re-sign here, they come up on a contract now. We're going to go to the contract, you know, the re-signing period for our team before these guys go to the free agency. And you're going to see the guys that were on here, they're either not going to be on here, they're going to be locked. Okay, you can see that it says locked here. So that means these guys are set in for one more year. I could sign all these other guys too, but I don't want to actually do it. I don't want to do it. So now I advance to the best time to trade, which is the free agency off-season week 1 of the free agency signing period, which is right now. This is the best time to trade. So let's see, are our guys still on our team? Well, of course they're still on our team. Okay, you see Fletcher Cox there. You see all the guys that we reset their contract. They're not going to free agency, and we still got them. So I'm looking here. Well, J.J. Watt's 92. I may let him play one more year, or I may trade him away. Fletcher Cox, their regression already set in, and these guys are doing fine. Okay, so right here, I may say like on one of these guys like Julio Jones. Okay, he's an 88 overall, but I'm a little nervous with that 33 years old. You know, something like that. So I could take Julio Jones at this point in time. I could trade him away, and you're going to see a bunch of teams are in the 40 range to even some of them are in the 30 range of, of players. You see the roster size, you can see a 37 there. So it means a lot of these teams have a lot of green interest. And in fact, even on some of your worst players, they're going to show green interest. Fullback here may show yellow interest on some teams. Grant will probably even show some green interest on someone's team's yellow interest. You're seeing a lot of interest, even green interest there. So this is really big. Now, this is another way to also get unlimited draft picks, because I know that Julio Jones is an absolute beast. So let's say I wanted to move up. Well, I know the Raiders more than likely will show some kind of interest for him, but I want to see green interest. I don't want to see anything besides green interest. So I'd go after the Redskins here. They also, they have everything that we need, the cap room, all of that stuff. So if I wanted to get a first round pick, or if let's say I thought the Redskins were going to do pretty bad I would ask for their first and a third. Now, they may not do this of next year. It may be another team. Who was it? Was it the Raiders? I want to see a team that is not doing too well. I'd go to maybe the Jets. They actually had a pretty good season. Man, they really did. They had an actual really good season. But what if I wanted to bring on a better guy? Okay, I could do that. The next thing I could do more than likely is I could trade for their first round pick, possibly a third, but the Jets are pretty stingy. So I know that they're pretty close. I would try to go for another team, maybe the Jaguars. Okay, I'm going for their next year's pick. They're projected to have the first overall pick. That's pretty bad. Another team would be the Giants. There's just tons of areas at which you can attack the system here. I could go after Ertz, and then I could go after a third round pick, trade for him currently this year, or I could try to do a multi-trade, go after Brandon Brooks. I mean, guys, I'm just showing you all the different things that you could do. But for the love of God, I mean, I'm offering up an 88 overall Julio Jones, and I'm asking for Ertz and Brandon Brooks, who, yes, they're both old, but I could do this same thing with them. I'm getting halfway interest, okay? So that's pretty good. And even if I did a straight up trade, his overall is higher than his overall. And then I could ask for, maybe a third round pick of next year and come close to that. So that tells me that this guy is actually worth nothing, because if he's the same value as a third round of next year, I could probably trade for him super easy. In fact, I could probably even do something really stupid. Man, that's just silly business right there. That's just insane right there. I wonder if this guy... Oh, man. I love this. Yeah, McCann. Yeah. Done. Woo! That was a good one. Now, that was a good multi-trade deal. So, I went after 3 different dudes. I was shooting for 90 overall. Now, definitely I would take one of those guys because Kels is too old. He's sitting in a 1-year contract. And then I would do a ladder trade technique here. I used one guy to get me this guy. And then what I would do here is I'd trade for other guys, or I would do, well, here they got Ed Oliver, who's sitting there and he's not actually doing anything on their team. So I could make this trade. I could go through. I mean, there's just so much I could do. With that being said, guys, I would go for maybe a first and then say, hey, well, you give me a third. I know it says their pick's the 32nd, but Madden doesn't have a clue. Bless you. And then, anyways, I showed you guys enough. Trade for draft picks, do things like that. I'm not going to get too heavy in it because the video's gotten it's gotten really long. But you can see just from manipulating the little bit that I've done, I've gotten, our team to a much different level. So that being said, hopefully you guys like. If you're brand new, like and subscribe. Make sure you share our videos. Leave us a comment down below. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.